Well, Douglas Murray, he's a Renaissance man, quite frankly. He's a best-selling author. He's an award-winning journalist. He's based in Britain. He's the associate editor of The Spectator, and he has written regularly for publications like the Wall Street Journal, which I read cover to cover every single day, the Times, the National Review. His books include a really significant book titled The Strange Death of Europe. And I would say incidentally, or maybe not incidentally, that this book was almost 20 weeks on the Sunday Times bestseller list, and it was the #1 bestseller in nonfiction. That's an incredible barrier to overcome, to become #1 in nonfiction. And his latest book, and that's the book that I want to spend most of my time on today, is titled The Madness of Crowds, Gender, Race, Identity. And I want to start the discussion with Douglas Murray on that very subject. Douglas, it is wonderful to have you on Hank Unplugged.
Well, it's a great pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
I want to start out with that first chapter in which you write about how rapidly perspectives on marriage are changing. And one of the illustrations that you underscore in this chapter is the idea of same-sex marriage. So you have Hillary Clinton, back at the time that her husband was proffering the Defense of Marriage Act, she was standing behind that lockstep with her husband. Then when she ran for office in 2016, she was standing diametrically opposed to this. And I suppose that underscores how rapidly our culture is transitioning, and how if you have happened to say something in the past, even if that past is fairly recent, you have a tripwire there that can blow you up pretty quickly.
Yes, that's right. I give the example of Joy Reid, who was found a couple of years ago to have done a tweet 10 years earlier in which she had expressed her reservations about gay marriage. And at the time she tweeted that was quite common to be, not in favor of gay marriage. And it was just very interesting that within a decade, this was enough to put her career in serious peril. And what I'm interested in about this really is it's a very good signal of the speed at which we are shifting our views. By the way, I happen to be in favor of gay marriage in a civil context. And what I say is, and what I think I mentioned in that chapter is, there's a very interesting boot on the other foot test here. Because if it is the case, and I give an example of an event I attended, a Christian event in London, which was basically hounded out of venues it was trying to organize in, if we end up in a situation of saying that people who are not in favor of gay marriage, which includes, as I say, most people until very recently, if in this era, it becomes impermissible to hold a view that was held very commonly until yesterday, we are doing something very dangerous. We are doing actually something profoundly illiberal. And we are saying that the mores of our time happen to have changed very radically on a set of things, whether for the good or for the worse is in people's own views, but that as they change, we will be totally unforgiving of anyone who doesn't come along lockstep with it 100% of the way. That, as I say, is a profoundly illiberal thing. It is not the job, for instance, of rights campaigners of any kind, writers or anyone else, to tell congregations or leadership of churches and other religious institutions to go along with views that those institutions do not, and in many cases cannot hold. And as I say, I give the gay marriage one because it's a fascinating window into this. The unforgivingness of our time, the unwillingness to allow a variety of genuinely various and dissenting opinion, and the desire effectively just to jump orthodoxies, where yesterday we had one, today we'll have a new one. And woe betide you if you're not on the right side today.